All right, so let's call it the $4.5 billion bet on Bitcoin. And my next guest, they're still stacking up that bet. Michael Saylor is now the executive chairman at Microstrategy. Michael, you know, a year ago, you stepped down as the CEO of the company. The haters were dancing on your grave, my man. I mean, Bitcoin was going down. Your stock was going down. Here we are now. Bitcoin's about $7,000 higher. Your stock's up 175%. Anything you want to say to the haters?
You know, everybody's against Bitcoin before they're for Bitcoin. We welcome you all back with open arms. And everybody gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve.
So what do you see? What's the future, the near term and the longer term future that you envision for Bitcoin?
Oh my gosh. This thing's going to hundreds of thousands of dollars per coin, Charles. I mean, the US government is in so much debt. The way I think about Bitcoin's price equals technology plus fiat liquidity. So it's going to go up because it's innovative tech and it's better money. But what really shoots it up at a neck-breaking pace is when our government is tens of trillions of dollars in debt and has to roll that debt over. So they got a lot of money to print and financial assets are going to soar. And Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of. It's over, man. This thing's going to the moon.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has dumped to prices not seen since like 2 days ago. And while there may have been a report about the SEC delaying the Bitcoin ETF, people out there blaming Matrix Report, who no one seemed to really know about or care about, we know who's really responsible. Oh, that's a nice asset you got there. Would be a shame if I were to speak positively about it. Go yourself, Kramer. But hey, what did you do when the price dumped? Did you sell like a blue-haired pansy with paper hands? Or did you show conviction? Did you show strong hands, diamond hands, the type of hands that build a future legacy for yourself? Don't know what I'm talking about? Well, take a look at Michael Saylor.
If I told you I know how it all ends, right? Once you know how it all ends, that the only use of time is, how do I buy more Bitcoin? But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business, it's in your family for 37 years, and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth, which is Bitcoin. So what I would say is use all your time to acquire Bitcoin, finance entities and weaker currencies to buy Bitcoin, or educate yourself on why this makes sense if you're not sure. And then educate everybody around you. You know, if you're working for a company that's got $100 million in the treasury, you ought to convince the CEO and the board of directors to convert the treasury to Bitcoin. That's the most accretive thing you can do. That'd be worth billions to them. It's like if you were to say to me, Mike, it's the year 2000, you're in Argentina. What's the best use of your time? The best use of my time is figure out how to get all of my money converted into dollars and get it out of Argentina because I'm going to lose 99.5% of the money if I don't. Nothing else matters.
The man is a fucking legend. He's about to exercise some stock options to, well, acquire more Bitcoin.
And the first question is for Michael. The 10Q discloses that Michael entered into a 10b5-1 plan to exercise MicroStrategy stock options. Can you please provide further color on the plan and the thought process?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for that question. I was granted a stock option in 2014 with respect to 400,000 shares, which is going to expire next April if I don't exercise it by then. For almost a decade now, at my request, the company has only paid me a $1 salary, and I've chosen not to be eligible for any cash bonuses. Exercising this option will allow me to address some financial obligations as well as to acquire additional Bitcoin for my personal account. Under my trading plan, I plan to exercise and sell 5,000 shares on each trading day, beginning on January 2nd, 2024, and ending on April 25th, subject to a minimum price condition. This means the sale will take place over almost 4 months. If you'd like more details about the plan, I would refer you to the 10Q. I continue to be optimistic about MicroStrategy's prospects and Should note that my equity stake in the company after these sales will remain very significant.
Yeah, and Jack Mallers, who helped bring Bitcoin as legal tender to El Salvador, he has also doubled down. He's not saying get off zero. He's saying get on zero. And 15 years ago, Satoshi Nakamoto pressed that key, setting in motion the mining of the first 50 Bitcoins, which can never be spent, but that's a story for another day. But hey, Bitcoin just turned 15. It's Genesis Block Day, and we got a lot of bullish news to cover. Let's get it.
Party, that party. Yeah, come and have a good time with G.O.D.
Like Saylor said, if it's not going to zero, it's going to a million.
And I have said before, and I would repeat it again, if it's not going to zero, it's going to a million.
And when everyone was showing weakness, Giga Chad doubled down. Now here's what he's going to be doing with his stock options. And seriously, what a Chad. We got the ETFs coming, the halving, the supply shock, the demand shock, and Saylor just announced that he's going to be, well, DCAing $3.4 million of Bitcoin a day. Knock, knock, Wall Street, what are you doing? I know one thing, Giga Chad's out here playing 4D chess. And this, my friends, is a beautiful thing from Strike's Jack Mallers. I no longer own any US dollars, not even a penny. As an American millennial, I love our country, but I oppose our money. I'm all in on Bitcoin, setting my sails toward prosperity or going down with the ship. I believe it's important to take a stance now more than ever. And when I was reading that, it brought to mind, you know, there were some major tax revolts throughout history that led to renaissances, an explosion of freedom and prosperity all around the globe. You can go to the Barons and the Magna Carta, the Boston Tea Party, and the Redcoats. And now today we have Bitcoin as the counter choke point, taking out their major point of power as the central banks. I don't know if that's anti-disestablishmentarianism or something, but it is fucking incredible. But hey, adding to all the bullishness, we know they're having the supply shock, but that demand shock that could be coming, I don't know, the end of this week is the Spot Bitcoin ETF. And yeah, that's not for us. We want self-custody. But pensions, banks, they're going to give exposure to their clients through this product. That is a major deal. And those are big, big numbers with lots of clients, and it's very bullish. But today, the SEC held discussions with NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and other exchanges to finalize things for the ETF approval, and that is from Eleanor Terrett over at Fox News. Also interesting with this dip is the fact that Larry Fink and BlackRock are going to be buying, I don't know, $10 million worth of Bitcoin in the next 60 hours. So all those degenerate longs that got liquidated, you're helping Larry stuff his bags. That's why you don't trade Bitcoin. You hodl Bitcoin. And yeah, speaking of those degens, there was over $1 billion of Bitcoin futures and open interest wiped out in one candle. And whether that was Matrix Report, the great bald Jim Cramer, or whatever, it was a good opportunity to stack some sats. And as we mentioned yesterday, after Cramer had to come out and say something nice about Bitcoin, we did expect a pullback. Hopefully you bought the dip and you attacked it like Giga Chad Michael Saylor, because it looks like the Matrix Report, you know, they were sucking and blowing at the same time. They took the blue pill and the red pill simultaneously. That's usually not a good combo with a Bitcoin's going to 50K this week. The ETF's getting approved, and then also Bitcoin's going down because of an SEC rejection. So what is it, guys? And Eric Belchunas didn't know what's going on. So if you know better than him, I find that highly unlikely. But one thing we know for certain is that the Bitcoin ETFs are not priced in. And we've talked about the effect that can have on Bitcoin's price. Let's go back to Samson Mao, who said it is possible after the launch, within days, weeks, months, we're going to be seeing six-figure Bitcoin and $1 million Bitcoin, as Saylor is called for him, even 5 million after the ETF gets approved. You can't have a short-sighted, you can't have a short-term mindset. Your time preference is important. You want to be able to plan for the future, hold for the future, and these other things are just noise that get into the way. And as Saylor said, when you know where this ends, well, that reinforces your conviction for sure. Also, nice little nugget here. It looks like Jihan Wu, founder of ASIC manufacturer Bitmain, the infamous proponent of big blocks during Bitcoin's block size wars, also the co-founder of Matrix Report, the firm that put out the SEC rejection FUD. So always trace incentives and look to people's actions and their words. You know, one thing about Giga Chad, he says it, and he fucking does it. So make sure you're doing your own research out there. Be able to tell when there's FUD, as, you know, it's pretty smart to say, hey, you can do this or that, you know. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him, though. And we also have this from Eleanor Tourette. The Spot ETF approval unlikely this week, says Fox Business, and this was kind of following that. The SEC still has to review all the changes made to the S1s filed on Thursday and Friday and make comments on them. So it may not be they are backed up with paperwork, but it's coming. One thing I'm pretty certain of is that everyone is not bullish enough. 2024 and 2025 are going to melt faces, and the Bitcoin space and Bitcoin's price are going to look very different in about 12 to 18 months. You are in a pretty amazing position to seize this opportunity. Take the advantage, sit down, study Bitcoin, and maybe you need to ask yourself, am I convicted? Do you have extra chairs laying around the house? Well, are you all in on those chairs?
But when you go all in on something, I would say that does take conviction. Now, your conviction might be
how many
coming from
chairs
first
are you sitting on
principles.
right now?
One.
Are you all in on the chair?
I am all in on the chair.
Like the point really is you put on one pair of glasses, you've got one pair of AirPods right now. You're looking at me through one screen. You're using one microphone. That's a one microphone. Like, you trust it? Is that conviction? Seems kind of scary. Why don't you diversify? Why don't you use 10 microphones? The point really is things in your life. Do you drive in 10 cars at the same time or one car at one time? Do you drive down one street? Aren't you afraid that you're driving down one street? Do you take a different way? So my point really is, if you're you get on one airplane, are you convicted? You put your entire family on the one airplane, aren't you afraid? Ultimately, if you're a rational individual, when you use knives, do you have copper knives, wooden knives, steel knives, aluminum knives, rubber band knives, diamond knives, because you're afraid to commit to the right knife? It's a tool.
Hey, if you're looking to get started in Bitcoin, get your Bitcoin off exchanges, take self-custody, or work to take your Bitcoin setup to the next level, we got just the guys to get you covered. As your dedicated Bitcoin IT team, the Bitcoin Way is here to guide you from start to finish on your journey to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. What's more, they've recently introduced 100% privacy-focused collaborative custody services where you'll benefit from advanced multi-sig security, inheritance planning, and much more while remaining 100% in control. Looking to get started? Book a free 30-minute call using that link below. Said it before and I'll say it again, it is the based who will inherit the earth, not the paper-handed blue-haired pansies. It's going to take conviction to make it to the other side. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Well, everyone's going to do it, but they're probably going to be forced into it, and they're going to have to get Bitcoin at the price they deserve, whereas you're going to front run them today. But hey, I hope you guys like this one. Be sure to like, subscribe, share that sound money gospel. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, where we're getting all the latest breaking news. Join us on Telegram, submit memes for the Simply Bitcoin Live meme review. Those links are below, and don't forget all of our sources, information. Those are down below, so you can go review everything for yourself and see if I'm full of shit. But hey, set those notifications. Keep tuning into Simply Bitcoin, your #1 source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. Nico's going to be coming in with Simply Sessions tomorrow with Ben, and I'll be back Friday with a Simply Bitcoin original. We got some more coming this weekend, so stay tuned. You just experienced Simply Bitcoin originals. I'm Rustin, the head of news at Simply Bitcoin. Hey, until next time, peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.